Hey, I'm Jess, host of the Fuel Your Awesome podcast. I overcame an eating disorder in my early 20s with a mix of faith and empowered eating. Now, I get to partner with food and fitness to create this energy level that can keep up with everything I value, like being a mama, a wife, and a champion for amazing humans like you. The best part, we are flipping the script on what aging healthy looks like, embracing grit, grace, and contagious confidence. Here, nutrition science meets mindset glow-ups to create a health approach that amplifies every area of your life. I have always believed health should be a launching pad, not a glass ceiling, and I'm here to help you make that shift too. This isn't a quick fix, my friend. It's your weekly recharge. Think audio coffee with an edge, served by me and my expert guests to challenge the status quo of health and empower you to fuel your awesome. Hey friend, welcome to February. I never thought we'd make it. January was packed. I don't know about you guys. I mean, it was great, but we just hit the ground running after the holidays, and it made sure I actually saw this on Instagram. It was like, January is going to make sure we feel all 31 days. And I definitely felt like that. But here we are. We made it. We are in February, the love month. And I'm so excited to be here because this month we are doing a For the Love series here on the show. So every single Monday this month, we are going to drop a specific episode hitting on For the Love of. And today we're talking about sports nutrition. We are hitting on For the Love of Fuel and going to unpack some of the secrets behind sports nutrition. And if you're like, does this apply to me? Yes. If you move your body on purpose, this applies to you. You are an athlete. And we're going to be talking about how we can pair and partner nutrition with some of the movement that you are going to be doing. It's going to be awesome. But I want to give you a little insight about what's coming. We are going to also be talking about For the Love of Resilience and picking the brains of Gen Z and Gen Alpha on what it's like to grow up in this world right now with social media and all the discussion about food corruption. There's a lot of fear-based nutrition out there, and I want to pick their brain on what it's like to grow up in this because we need to be raising resilient eaters. We'll also be hitting on For the Love of Longevity, what to accept and what to give up on when it comes to nutrition and body changes as we age. This is something that women go through throughout our lives, right? We go through puberty. We go through, if we have kids, we go through childbearing ages. Then we go through all the hormonal changes, perimenopause, and then into menopause. So a lot happens with our body there. And I want to talk about what we can do something about and what are things that we would really do ourselves a favor to gracefully love and embrace in that next season of life. And then finally, we're going to be hitting on For the Love of Balance, 3 ways to stay out of the all or nothing mindset. You guys know I love talking about this. We live in a world of extremes, polarization. Our brain operates in extremes, but the problem is we don't live in extremes, right? We live in all things happening at the same time. And so we're going to talk about how we can stay out of that extreme all or nothing mindset, especially when we are working on some of our nutrition changes. So it's going to be such a fun month. I love this month. It's shorter. It's got hearts everywhere, which is totally my jam. But I think it's a great opportunity for us to dive in a little bit deeper to some of these topics. So for today, I had mentioned we're going to unlock some of the secrets of sports nutrition. And I'm really excited to talk about this, guys. This month in January, I've done so many sports nutrition talks for athletes, for specifically high school athletes. And it's been really enlightening just to hear their questions. Because I know if they have these questions, it means we as parents aren't answering them. So whether you're a parent or an aunt or a teacher, we all impact the next generation in some way, shape, or form. And so I'm really excited to just share with you some of these questions that came up and answer them here on the show today. Cool? You here with me? Hey, before we dive in, guys, we hit on a lot of the big nutrition topics here, and we address it as best as possible. But the reality is nutrition is nuanced and it's personal. So as we're going through this, please keep in mind that this is not medical advice for you specifically. This is general nutrition education. And if you're looking to dive in deeper, I would love to get connected with you. We can get you connected with myself or one of our dietitians to learn more about becoming an empowered eater and all the different resources and tools we have to help get you there. So that's my little disclaimer for today because we're going to hit on the nutrition hard. You ready for it? I'm so excited. You know I nerd out about this stuff. Okay, I just want to share some of these questions with you. I mean, the next generation is just dying to know what to eat. Let's see. Like, how much water should I be drinking in general when I weightlift? What do I eat if I'm cutting? How much water should I drink after a workout? What are the best tips of foods to eat if I'm trying to lose weight? How much protein should we intake as athletes? And what sort of food should we eat to hit that goal? Can I still eat candy? Are there any extreme restrictions that we need to follow in order to better our nutritional intake? Guys, these are the questions that our kids are asking. And so let's get clear on some of them today. Okay, so when I do these nutrition talks, I kind of like to start from a 30,000 foot view before we get granular. When we are looking at any type of athletic performance, whether you're a weekend worker-outer, whether you work out on the weekends, or if you are a professional athlete, nutrition is a piece of the puzzle, and it becomes increasingly important as we age. And here's the thing. Nutrition is the one thing we are expected to know but never taught, ever. Unless you went to school to become a dietitian, like yours truly, we are never actually taught this information. And so as a result, we are left to TikTok to teach us. And that's just doing both us and our kids a disservice. So let's do like a 30,000 overview on sports nutrition. As an athlete or as someone who moves your body on purpose, nutrition is a piece of the puzzle. And how I like to think of it is I think of our body like a car, and we have different types of cars on the road, right? We have some of the more like practical, reliable cars. You got your Hondas, Toyotas, and Subarus, and they require fuel regularly, right? And they can go for forever. Cool. Then you've got some of the higher class cars. You've got like the Porsches and the fancy cars. They need a higher caliber of fuel when they go to the gas station. Then you have something like a NASCAR. Now, a NASCAR, I didn't know this until recently, but they actually have, there's a specific job in the NASCAR world where people formulate the fuel for a NASCAR. Isn't that crazy? So it's not like these NASCARs are pulling up to a gas station just filling their tank. No, they have a specifically formulated fuel that is put into their engine, designed for that specific engine based on what it's going to be doing and how it's performing. Crazy, right? This is how it is with athletes. Depending on how we are moving our body and what level we are looking to push our body, we are going to need to look at different types of fuel. And, some of us might need some custom crafted fuel. Some of us might need to level up from the regular fuel and start putting some premium fuel in our tank. So I think we would have to look at that. And the first mistake I see anybody who exercises and doesn't pull nutrition into the equation, the first mistake I see them make is just not taking the time to understand how nutrition needs to match their workout. I think we live in a world that's constantly telling, especially as women, to be smaller and take up less space. And so it's almost like we go into the gym to work out to burn calories, but we're like told not to value the food piece and match that fuel and that energy output. But we absolutely need to include that in any exercise routine. So that's one of the mistakes I see almost all athletes make, not all, but the ones that come see me, is that they're just not eating enough. They're not understanding that anytime we level up the activity or we start to push our body in a new way, we have to meet that with fuel. It's so, so important that we do that. So as an athlete, whatever you're doing, one of the best things we can do is look at how we're bookending our workout with fuel. As a female going into any movement or exercise, we need to be going in with fuel on board. Intermittent fasting is huge right now. It is something that that's probably one of the number one questions I get when I go do these talks and speaking engagements is, what about intermittent fasting? Oh, I'll tell you right now, my friend, it's a no. It's a no for me. It's a hard no, and here's why. When women enter into any activity without glucose in their system, it actually tells our body that we are in a heightened stress state. So it can increase our cortisol levels. And then beyond that, we have two neuropeptides in our brain. They're called kisspeptin peptides, and they regulate our hormones and drive our thyroid function. And what happens when we go work out in a fasted state, one of those kisspeptin neuropeptides starts to change how it tells our hormones to beat. And so there's actually a disruption in our luteinizing hormone within just a few days of intermittent fasting. So I am not a fan. We need that fuel going into our workout. So this is one of the best things we can do is look at the type of workout we're doing and figure out how do we fuel that workout in a way that meets both the energy demands but also aligns with what our stomach can handle. And this is a fun Tetris game. I play this with my clients all the time where we sit and we have to think about all these different factors. So like I'll start with, okay, what's the workout that you're doing? Because obviously if we're running, that's going to be very different than doing a weightlifting exercise or activity. So we look at the exercise at hand and then we decide, okay, what can your stomach handle? So how close to the workout can you actually eat? And then from there, decide what it is that we're going to eat. In general, we're going to want to pair a higher carbohydrate snack or meal with a little bit of protein before any type of workout, because that's going to give your body the energy it needs to actually fuel the workout ahead of you. So for example, I was talking to a client yesterday and she works out early in the morning like myself. And so she's like, okay, what's like a really quick, easy carbohydrate I could have? Because when I go for my run, I don't want to feel oatmeal in my stomach. So we settled on doing these little peanut butter dates where she just has like 3 of them. She pre-makes them at the beginning of the week and she can pop 3 of those in as she's out the door. Very easy, very soft on the stomach, quick glucose for the body. The protein gives a little bit of, the peanut butter gives a little bit of protein. It was great. It worked beautifully. So this is one of the things that is super important in a way we can level up from like regular fuel to premium fuel is just figuring out how to fuel ourselves before we walk into the gym or before we go out for a run. Super, super important, especially as a female. Now, the other piece of this is what we feed ourselves after we leave the gym or after we finish the run or after the workout, after the rock climbing. This is equally as important as the pre-workout. Our body is like a sponge as soon as we finish that workout. And if we're going to see the metabolic adaptations we all want to see from exercise, which is getting stronger, feeling more fit, those benefits that we're there to get, we have to fuel. And we need to fuel within about an hour of exercise. Now, I have to tell you, being a dietitian's like chasing your tail sometimes because the research just goes in all these different directions. So when I was in college, we were told you have to eat within that 60-minute window after exercise. After college, they kind of came out and said, you got like 4 hours. It's not quite as important as we thought. Now the research has come back out again and said, okay, that was true for men. As women, we have about a 60-minute window. So if you're a male listening, you guys have a little bit longer. We as women still need that 60. We need to eat within 60 minutes. I mean, do you see how crazy this is? Nutrition's all over the place. It's like no wonder people are confused. I get confused. I have to read a lot to stay on top of the research. So we have about a 60-minute window after we finish exercising where our body is looking to rebuild. Oh, the other cool thing about this 60-minute window is that this is called a non-insulin dependent window, meaning your body can take glucose into the cells without insulin like it needs to be outside of exercise. And it's because your body is in this heightened metabolic state after a workout. So you're actually taking glucose into the cell quicker and in different ways than you are the other like 23 hours of the day. Cool, right? So getting that post-workout snack, making sure it has at least 20 grams of protein and at least 40 grams of carbs. So I always recommend a 2-to-1 carb to protein ratio, which comes out to about that 20 grams of protein, 40 grams of carbs within an hour of exercise. And then, of course, the details of that are going to be fine-tuned depending on your goals and your age and what you're doing. So like for my teenage runners, I'm asking them to hit that within 30 minutes of finishing any type of activity. but then I want them within 2 hours to go eat a full meal. And we're looking at adding extra carbs to that meal. For my 20-somethings, we might be a little closer to that depending on how active their lifestyle is. Once we get into 30s and 40s and more of that like perimenopausal range, we are looking at having that post-workout snack right after the exercise is done. But then breakfast doesn't, or the next meal, whatever the next meal is, it doesn't necessarily need to be a larger meal. Yeah, so you can see how we kind of tweak it depending on you and your circumstance. Guys, there's so much power in spending just a few hours figuring this out, because this is something that can serve you for forever. So if you're like, okay, Jess, I get the gist. Carbs before, 20-40 protein to carb ratio afterwards, but I need help naming that and packing that and putting it together. We are so here for you. Guys, I'm going to link the intake call link in the show notes so you guys can book that, because I think it's so worth your time, and you're worth it. You're going to the gym, working hard. You are worth also fueling and understanding how to fuel yourself. We would love to help you get that set up. Okay, so that's kind of like one of the biggest things I see in sports nutrition is just not quite understanding how to fuel around the workout. But man, when we do that, it really does level us up from regular fuel to premium fuel for our car machine. You can tell I'm not a car person. I just like the analogy. Okay, one of the other things we have in like that 30,000 foot view of sports nutrition is making sure we are drinking enough water and maintaining adequate electrolytes. When we are pumping through energy at a higher capacity because we're exercising, our body naturally needs more of those electrolytes and more water to fuel all those metabolic processes that go along with exercise. I mean, you're literally asking your body to do more work. We've got to give it more to work with. Sodium and potassium and magnesium are the top 3 electrolytes that you as an athlete are going to need a little bit more of. And so there are some amazing ways to get these electrolytes these days. I am a fan of Elements, although there's been some controversy about the hidden maltodextrin in them. If this is your first time hearing about this, don't worry. It's really, it's not that big of a deal, but you know how social media is? They take these things and it blows up into a huge deal. So maltodextrin is a carbohydrate, and originally Element said that it had no maltodextrin in it, or it had such a small amount that it didn't have to report it. And then a testing company actually found it had like 500 times the amount of maltodextrin that it originally reported, which seems like a really large amount. But when we actually look at how much we're taking in one of those tiny packets, it's very negligible. So what I recommend to folks who are a little weirded out by this, 1, maltodextrin is just a carbohydrate. 2, the only downside of it is that it could disrupt like your gut if you are struggling with gut issues. So you might just want to pay attention to that. I still drink them. I really enjoy them. I love the hot ones. They're so good. I'm going to link those in the show notes too, if you want to try it. But I'm still drinking them. But for those that are concerned about the impact on gut health, Redmond's Relights are awesome. They come from a natural salt source in Salt Lake City. It's a very, very cool packet. I use those as well sometimes, but honestly just haven't given up the Elements because I like the flavor. And that's empowered eating right there. Oh, there it is in a nutshell. We heard some information about Elements and how they had some controversy, but I'm not cutting them out because I'm making an informed decision to continue having them. I'll just mix it in with some Relights, which are a little bit more natural. See what we do there? See how we don't have to stay in fear? We can make empowered decisions. Yes, 1 win for empowered eating. Okay, so we've got the electrolyte piece. That's going to be super important as an athlete. And then the other piece is just basic hydration, making sure you're drinking enough. One of the questions I always get is, does tea count? Do all these other beverages that I'm consuming that don't necessarily, it's not water, but does it provide fluid? Yes. The only ones that don't technically count as fluid are things that are going to be a dehydrator or have, I would say, like things that make your body work harder. So for example, coffee is a diuretic. I wouldn't count your coffee. 2, sodas have a high amount of sugar in them, and it's harder for your body to process that. So I wouldn't count those, but green teas, kombuchas, some of these sparkling waters, all of those are fluid. Yeah. I mean, if that floats your boat, keep doing it, sister. It's great. It's fantastic. But here's one of the things we need to remember with hydration. Hydration today starts yesterday. So when we are looking at making sure our body has enough fluid on board, it really truly starts the day before. So this is something we need to stay ahead of and always be working on. I get this question a lot, how much should I be drinking? And of course, if you meet with us, we will calculate that for you and I can tell you an exact number. But in general, let me tell you how cool your body is. You have a biofeedback mechanism built in that will tell you if you are hydrated, and that is your urine color. I have my boys trained in this. It's so cute. I'm like, boys, if your pee is light yellow or clear, it means you're hydrated. It means you're doing great. If it's yellow and stinky, you need to drink some more water. So to this day, they're so cute. They're probably going to grow up and die that I tell this to the world. But to this day, if they go to the bathroom and they have darker urine, they will run out and go, Mama, my pee is yellow. I need some water. It's like a panic. It's how we roll in the Brown house. We listen to that biofeedback. So pay attention to your urine when you go pee. What color is it? And make sure you do your best to stay ahead of it. And if you don't, guess what, girlfriend? You are like the rest of us. Life gets busy. Thank God we have that built-in biofeedback mechanism to just kind of cue our brain. Hey, girl, you've been neglecting that Stanley Cup. Go back and grab it and let's drink some more water. Okay, so that is really the basics of sports nutrition, my friend. Looking at pairing or bookending your workout with carbs before, 2-to-1 carb to protein ratio afterwards, staying ahead of hydration, and then making sure you're getting extra electrolytes. 30,000 foot view. Of course, we could dive in so much deeper, but that's truly something that's best done on a one-on-one basis. So if that's you, again, I would love to meet with you and play this Tetris game with you to build you a really solid sports nutrition plan, because there's power in knowing how to take care of your body. I will say the most empowered eaters that I know are not people that eat perfectly. I'm included in this. I don't eat perfectly. They don't eat perfectly. They don't meal prep, specifically every Sunday and do everything right. The people who are the most empowered when they sit down to eat are the ones who understand why they're giving their body what they're giving it. And they're just clear on that, and nothing else distracts them. And so my hope is that today you feel more empowered about how to fuel yourself around whatever activity you are doing, and that you feel really solid and strong in that. And of course, if you want to dive in deeper, let's do it. I'm going to link that intake call in the show notes. All right, my sisters, that is what I have for you today. I'm so glad you came by. Be sure to tune in this month, because we are going to be covering for the love, some of these really great topics that I know are going to enhance your empowered eating journey. If you loved this episode, I would be so grateful if you took a minute to leave a review. Thank you for being here. Until next time, cheers and happy eating. I am so glad you stopped by. I know you're leaving today with so much insight, but let's make it actionable. Take a moment right now to choose one key takeaway and write it down. Putting it in writing is the first step to making it happen. And remember, it's small, consistent changes that spark the biggest health transformations. If you're ready to dive in deeper into empowered eating, check out the show notes for free resources and details on how to connect with me and the Empowered Eating team. If today's episode lit a spark, my friend, I'd be so grateful if you'd share the love. Leave a review and tag me on social media at Jess Brown RD. By spreading the message, it helps us reach even more people who need empowered eating in their life. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're always in the loop. Until next time, my friend, I hope you have a beautiful day. Cheers and happy eating.